What's up, guys? We have another episode for you that's a little different than usual. Back in August, Buddy, Colt, and myself got to do another live show at Uproar Conference, but this time in Horseheads, New York. We had a blast with the audience, and we can't wait for you to hear it. If you're interested in having Youth Group Chronicles come to a live show at your event, all the details can be found on our website, ygcpodcast.com/book. Without further ado, here is our live show at Uproar Conference Horseheads 2024.
Can you stand your feet and welcome with me, Youth Group Chronicles!
How's everybody doing today? Yeah. Welcome. Thank you guys so much for being here. We are Youth Group Chronicles. If you're not familiar with Youth Group Chronicles, this is a podcast where youth leaders, youth students, people in youth ministry, they send in their crazy stories to the show, and then we read them and react to them live on the podcast. So you guys ready to do that with us today? So who here is in youth group? Can I see some hands? Who has done something absolutely crazy? I know there's a few out here. Let's see if anything that you have come to your mind will top these stories, all right? With me today, too, we have Pastor Cole Clark and Pastor Buddy Jenkins.
Hola.
What up, y'all?
Hola.
What up?
And this is what we do. So we sit in a studio, and we just laugh at stories all day. And we get to do it with you guys. So that's what we're really excited to do. So let's kick this off. This is a story from Amelia. Amelia said, "Our youth pastor almost got arrested for kidnapping. We do a town-wide scavenger hunt where a leader drives around and takes pictures of students completing different challenges or prompts. Everything was going smoothly until our youth pastor got pulled over and swarmed by multiple police cars for suspected kidnapping. Apparently, a few people at our local park had called 911 after they saw our pastor taking pictures of the kids on his team and then quickly loading them back into the white van that he was driving and speeding off. He had to call people from the church to verify that this was all part of the game while some of the kids sat in the back of the van crying."
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Big L.
Not a smart move. I'm not gonna lie though. Buddy was with me, and when me and him first started group, my car was always broken, so my dad gave me a van with no windows. And
So you were picking up kids in the same manner.
We called it a demon buster. So I really feel for this youth pastor.
Yeah. But people should be more aware where it's like, man, I'm taking pictures of kids at a park in a white van right now.
And then racing to the next activity.
Yeah, then
in the
racing
van.
away and then loading them up. I think people should be kind of aware about
So
what
take
they're
notes.
doing.
So for you youth pastors, this is who this podcast is primarily for. This is where you take notes and learn. Okay, no pictures in the parks, even for a scavenger hunt.
No white vans. Please no white vans.
No white vans.
This is a story from Luke. At a youth group event, we had two leaders dressed up on stage having a dance battle. One was in an inflatable dinosaur costume, and the other was in a shark costume. But for some odd reason, our youth pastor thought it would be a great idea to have them hold smoke bombs as they were dancing. But what we failed to realize is that as the smoke bombs were going off, the inflatable dinosaur costume was sucking up the air through the little fan. So the entire costume filled up with smoke and caused our poor youth leader to nearly pass out on stage. It got so bad that we had to evacuate the building because it was completely covered with smoke.
That's a different type of hot box, my man. Different type.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know if have you ever used those smoke grenades?
No.
Bro, you don't need a costume on. You don't even need one. We got them for a youth group like a year ago.
I can't imagine they're easy to get out of. Like the costume themselves.
Costumes?
It probably takes like 10 minutes to get out, let alone you're sitting in there suffocating. So
that reminds me of like what? So 1 year, this was like 6-7 years ago, like one of my first conferences. Fresh Cody thought it was a really good idea to let me and my cousin Eddie run the smoke machine.
Oh no.
So I was like, what do you want us to do? He's like, you just hit the button, let the smoke go out, boom, you're going. I'm like, all right, bet. So we're just back there the whole time, just pressing it. We're like pressing it. Bro, we look out, can't see nobody.
That actually
It's just
happened 1 year here.
Smoke. They had to like, all right, we had to let everyone out to let all the smoke out, and I'm like, well, so you don't let 16-year-olds
Don't let
run
Buddy near the smoke machine.
Yeah, don't let me do the smoke machine.
So, guys, this is something we do on the podcast right here. So, when people send in their stories, some of them can be a little predictable, some of them not so much. So, sometimes, or actually every episode now, what I do is I read the first couple sentences of a story, and then my guests have to give their best guess on what's about to happen next. And you guys be thinking about it as well. So, this is from Ellie. She said, for a youth group event, there was a fear factor type challenge known as the Wheel of Misfortune. The wheel had a bunch of gross options, but the worst was when a student spun the wheel and it landed on, quote, fresh grape juice. So I'm going to end the story, or I'm going to pause it right there. We're going to go with, Buddy, if you could finish that story, what do you think is about to happen? Now, these are true stories, guys. This is what happened in youth group. Buddy, what is your best guess?
All right. If I was to do some detective level analysis, one thing I know about a lot of these stories that I've heard on here is for some reason, these people that send in these stories, they always have something to do with feet. It's always socks, feet, athlete's foot, dirty feet. It's always that every single time, and I don't know. I don't get that. So my thought process is the fresh grape juice. They had to drink grape juice. That because you ever see those videos where they like stomp on the grapes and they get like the juice out? So it's probably like somebody with like stinky, sweaty feet stomped on grapes with their feet.
That's a great guess.
And then they had to drink it. That's my guess.
Cole?
I don't know. I feel like that's the logical thing.
I bodied them.
But we don't know. It could
So
be.
I gotta throw a curveball in there. I don't know. This is hard. Let's see.
You could just say you also agree.
Sure. I have one in my head, but
Just
I'm not
say it.
ready to go that crazy.
You're not ready to go that route? All right, here we
I'm
go.
not ready to go that crazy.
The wheel had a bunch of gross options, but the worst was when a student had spun the wheel and it landed on fresh grape juice. The student was then expected to crush the grapes with their feet and drink it. Great guess, buddy. But to make it more interesting, the student could get extra points if one of the youth pastors was the one to crush the grapes. And this student agreed to do it.
Nah.
You could literally see a cloud of dust floating into the air when this guy took off his socks. That is
Dang.
gross.
I told you.
Dang.
I told you. I don't know what it is about feet and youth groups.
Dang.
But they just always using feet. And the kids are always like, yeah, I'll drink foot juice.
He did. This is what this kid did. Crusty feet and all. He
Nah,
drank the
I'm
grape
good.
juice for the extra points. I am not doing that for, I don't care how many points I get
Yeah,
from
I
my
don't
team.
care.
There's no way. You do it for $1 million?
Oh, I don't know about $1
you
million.
wouldn't.
$1 million.
$1 million. I don't know. I'll drink.
Buddy said $1 million got him. Buddy said he would be
He's
first
gonna live
in
off that
line
grape juice
if
for
$1 million
$1
was there.
Y'all
This
not
is,
even gonna know.
listen, this is youth group. It was for like a $10 Visa gift card.
Right.
Yeah, McDonald's.
And
Right,
these
probably
kids
for-
were ready to risk everything for Roblox money.
Yeah, not even that.
Come on.
That's even too much. They probably did it for a $5 Starbucks gift card, and you can't even get nothing with the $5 on the gift card.
They got no car to drive to Starbucks.
Yeah, no card.
They don't. You notice that kids don't even come. They just hear there's a game and a prize. They don't care what it is. They're
don't
like, I want to go
They don't
first.
question it.
I'll
It's a
drink
$5
grape juice
McDonald's
from
card.
people's nasty feet.
This is
Wow.
a story from
Not me.
Tiffany. Tiffany said, at summer camp, a group of teens were playing tug of war on a wet tarp. Now, for some reason, this tarp was kept in place by stakes in the ground on each corner. At one point, I saw one coming out of the ground as kids were being dragged toward this stake on this wet, slippery tarp. So, as a youth leader, I thought to myself, wow, this is probably dangerous.
Naturally.
Next thing you know, I saw a kid being carried to the nurse's golf cart with a metal stake literally sticking out of their heel. My question is, Why was nothing done? Who here, let me see some hands. Who here has been hurt at youth group? Okay.
All my youth kids, put your hands down. You've never gotten hurt once in your life. I don't know what you're talking about.
Who here?
Put your hands down. We are safe. But I will say this. I've never personally been a part of any youth game if that was fun, that there wasn't a little bit of danger somewhere.
So that's
there
what
in the
he's saying.
game.
He's always told me this.
I'm telling you, those are the games that they want to play. They're like, oh, we're going to run over burning coals? Let me go.
What game is that?
Dude, like, I'm telling you, crazy. Like, all right.
What game is
You know what? We'll play tug of war, right? The kids will come up after service. It was wet. Honestly, we keep playing the same game. But if someone gets dragged across the floor that week,
Yes.
can we play tug of war next week?
It's true.
But it's all okay as long as you sign the waiver.
As long as
Yeah,
you
just
sign
sign
the
the
waiver.
waiver.
That's all we
You
ask,
sign the
right?
waiver.
That's all
the
we
youth
ask.
pastor didn't really know. They didn't really know it was going to happen.
No, he saw it and said, oh, they already signed the waiver.
They
It's okay.
disagreed with what
Yeah,
happened.
he said, that could be good. Could be right. It was not good.
This is a story from David. David said, our youth group hosted a massive event where students stayed out on the town from 7 p.m. until 7 a.m., otherwise known as a lockout, actually. They named it.
Wow.
We did fun things like trampoline parks, go-karts, bowling, etc. It grew so large that we eventually had 500 middle schoolers with us every single year. One year when we got back to the church, we had just finished unloading the buses when a mom of a student showed up and started asking where her kid was. Her student was a bit of a loner, so no one knew where he was at the moment. And to make it worse, the leader of the student's bus didn't do roll call like he was supposed to do. All of the leaders immediately began searching for this kid, but he was nowhere to be found. At this point, the mom was furious and called the police. After what felt like forever, we got a call from the bus company. Apparently, this kid had fallen asleep on the bus and crawled up under a seat to get more comfortable.
Wow.
When he finally woke up, he was already at the bus depot, which was 40 minutes away. He never came back to youth group.
Yeah.
Have you ever left a kid anywhere?
No, but I've wanted to bad sometimes. I'm not even going to lie to you. There's been a few moments.
Do we have any youth leaders that would agree with that statement? Yes. We don't have to show any hands. You can just think about that one.
I've wanted to leave a few kids. I don't know why the mom can be mad, though. This sounds like something parents came up with. Let's do something where we lock the kids out of the city for a day. So we're free of all youth kids.
If you had to choose, so has anyone done a lock-in before? I feel like a lot of youth groups have done lock-ins. Not 90%, but the majority of stories on this podcast definitely come from lock-ins.
That's why I haven't done a single lock-in.
Would you rather do a
Learn.
lock-in or a lock-out?
I feel like a lockout is just a fun way to say, like, we're going somewhere, yo.
Yeah, I feel like it's just
we go places all the time.
That's fair.
I would say lock out because lock-ins are normally at night, and I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good, man. I don't
good.
want to do
Well, no,
parties,
so they said this one was from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., just like a lock-in.
Oh,
Where
yeah.
did they go?
They went go-karting,
They must live
bowling.
in a big city.
Yeah.
We don't have
Then
that.
they
Dave
stay
and Buster's.
somewhere?
It's 7 p.m. and, like, Wendy's
We're
is
not
open.
doing that here in Horseheads, New York.
Hey, y'all,
Yeah,
we're
no.
going to go on a trip to Denny's. Everyone get it?
Waffle
Doing a
House.
lockout.
This is a story from Derek. Derek said, we had a 6th grade boy come with us on a youth retreat that was from a family that was relatively sugar-free at home. They said, you know the type. Okay.
Wait, what?
You know the type. You know the
You know
type.
the type?
They actually put that in there.
You know the type.
Naturally, this student went a bit over the top with ice cream, brownies, and candy that we had available at snack time. Unfortunately, I was in this boy's cabin, and somewhere around 2 a.m., I heard some whimpering, followed by, quote, "Can you help me?"
Wow.
All right.
Wow.
I got up out of my sleeping bag and walked over towards this student when I suddenly wiped out on something slippery and landed flat on my back.
Nah, man. No. No.
While still lying down, I turned on my phone light to see a truly horrific scene. Oh my gosh. Not only had I slipped and fallen in this student's vomit, but also he had his own puke all over his bunk, down the inside of his sleeping bag as well. And to make matters worse, he had somehow thrown up onto the sleeping student right below him.
Yo, I've learned something about this is good.
Nah.
This one's not for the pastors. This one's for the students.
Nah.
If there's anything I've learned about these stories, never pick the bottom bunk ever.
That's
If you're,
so true.
Never.
So true.
Never.
Nah, that's sick.
This is why. Well, here, listen to this. They said, luckily the student beneath him was a heavy sleeper.
Luckily.
So I was able to wipe the vomit from this kid
Nah, dude, that's worse.
without ever waking him up, and he never noticed what happened.
Nah.
That's foul.
Nah.
That's foul. That's terrible.
No.
That's the worst thing you could do.
I
That's
do
the
not
worst
know.
thing.
That's
No.
a great question. How do you not smell that in the morning, right?
yeah,
No,
how
he
do you not
did.
smell that in the
He
morning?
did,
He
but
didn't care.
what do you tell people?
Well, okay, he probably
I woke
was
up
like,
this morning, my upper
hey,
lip
someone
just
threw up in here last
smacked,
night.
just smelled
Like,
crazy.
it might smell bad in the cabin. He's like, okay.
Like, why do I smell it?
Proximity.
Then how heavy of a sleeper are you for
Nah, bro.
a grown
Nah.
man to come clean vomit?
No.
I'm good.
Nah, I don't know about that.
I'm good.
I don't know about that. Was that anonymous?
No, that was from Derek.
Some kid might get scarred right now. He's like, I wondered
Feel like I knew it.
why.
He's listening to the show right now. He's like, that
wait, hold
sounds
on.
really
Like-
familiar.
What's the dude's name?
Derek.
He's like, Derek, that's
with
my
an
youth
A.
pastor. My
I'm
youth
a
pastor is
youth
Derek.
I remember sleeping in a bunk and felt like throw up.
Sam
I remember
was above
like
me.
throwing for the whole day. Wait, hold on.
This is a story from Philip. He said, when our retired pastor was the cook at youth camp, he decided to pour laxatives into the food.
That's why he's retired. That's illegal.
Yeah, okay, I gotta say,
In
that's
all
illegal.
52 states,
Don't
illegal.
do that.
Illegal.
Ever do that.
It's
If you get
illegal.
caught, that is true.
It's illegal always.
He said, but it didn't stop there. He had gone into all the buildings on campus and stole every single roll of toilet paper.
Yeah, he's a super villain. Yeah, he's a super villain. That's a
Wow.
That's a
It gets better. Listen,
worldwide threat.
not
Wow.
many stories
Knock that
like,
man up.
not many stories make me go, oh my goodness. This one really made me like, wow.
Does he say?
He said, when the chaos hit, he climbed onto a roof and auctioned off this toilet paper back to the campers to raise money for missions.
I mean,
Supply and demand.
I mean,
Supply and demand at its finest.
whatever to get the gospel going.
Hey,
I mean,
he said, none of my youth group tithes. Get the laxatives.
how much?
I know how to
do you
fix
really
this
want
problem.
it?
This is how he justified it to himself, guaranteed. He didn't like the kids.
If I raise money,
Missions work.
if I raise money, give it to missions.
Dang.
Give it to missions.
Had a monopoly on the toilet.
But really, they
paper.
don't give it to missions. They just like give a percentage to missions.
Dang.
That's the strategy.
All right, so guys, every episode we do this fun thing. We do a Would You Rather segment.
Boy.
And this is where we take two stories from this episode. We pit them against each other. My guests, myself, and you guys get to participate in this. You need to decide which story, which scenario you'd rather find yourself in. So our first option today is going to be Ellie's story, where you are a student who just spun the wheel of misfortune, and you have to drink grape juice that your youth leader just stepped on barefoot to crush for you. It's option one, so keep that in mind. They said dust came off this guy's feet, so not very clean.
Not clean at all.
So that's
Nasty.
option one. Option two is you're playing tug of war on a slippery tarp, and for some reason, they stuck some stakes into the ground, and you got one up your heel.
Ooh.
We're going to go with Pastor Cole. If you had to choose in this Would You Rather segment, which option are you going with? They're like fighting out there about this.
All right, here's the thing. I have options to weigh in my head. Option 1, there's months of recovery.
Yes. And
Physically.
possibly permanent damage.
Option 2, there's months of recovery mentally.
Yes.
I know what I want to say is I want the steak, but I feel like I could get over the foot thing faster. Personally.
So you're going with the grape
Like
juice.
I would be hurt for like a day. I'd be like, what just happened? I would like try to hide it, like tell nobody. It would eat me alive in my brain. Every time I looked at that person.
He wants to pick the grape juice, guys.
Every time I looked at that person, I'd be hurt, mentally scarred, but I'm going to have to go with it.
All right, grape juice gets 1 vote. Buddy?
Yeah. I'm gonna just do the juice. Cause here's the thought process, right? 1, it's temporary.
Yep.
2, he most likely got a prize for it. 3, the spike.
That makes it worth it to you?
Worth it.
At least you got a prize. The spike, bro, you could probably lose a foot, something.
Yeah. That medical bill's crazy.
That's
Yeah.
true.
He's priced,
So we
I
have
don't know how
2 grape
his
juice.
insurance was looking, but
Yeah, I'm doing grape juice.
I am also going with the grape juice. Now
Yeah, I'm
here's how
doing
we're going to
grape
do
juice.
this. If you would take the grape juice, let's see a show of hands. Wow, we're like pretty split. Maybe not. If you would choose the metal stake to the foot, let's see some hands. Oh, grape juice wins.
Oh,
100%.
y'all
That's
are-
wild. Yeah, that's wild.
There's like
These people are
y'all are different.
fiends,
Yeah.
fiends for pain.
Yeah.
Mark these people as
Yeah.
weirdos.
I just want to
They're
say
like, a
they're
steak
weird.
in my foot.
I want to say that we're not weird for choosing the grape juice.
They're
Like
more
that's
weird.
that's over
Yes.
with. You're weird. Like why do you want a steak in your foot?
It's just 1 drink. 1 drink. That's all you have to do.
Just a little
Yeah, that's
sip.
fair.
Just a little sippy.
That's all right. Majority has won.
A little
Yeah.
sippy of some grape juice.
Anyway, guys, thank you so much for having us. We love being here at Uproar Conference. This was a blast. You guys, Youth Group Chronicles on all podcast platforms. You can follow us on social media. And we love you all. Hopefully see you next year. Thank you.
Peace.